Hey, what's up? This is Ben from WODprep, and in this video, I'm gonna teach you the ultimate strategy for CrossFit benchmark workout, Annie. Annie is a hugely popular CrossFit workout. It's one of the first CrossFit workouts that I ever did, and I've done it probably 30 times since I started. This video, I'm gonna cover all the tips and tricks that can help you get your best score possible. We're gonna go over the standards of movement so that you know that you're doing it properly. And then next, I'm gonna go over how to scale to get the proper stimulus, because not everyone should be doing Annie as Rx'd. And then last but not least, I'm gonna go over my perfect strategy and how you can avoid a horrible, horrible injury that will cause you such extreme amounts of pain that you will scream and jump out of the shower. More on that towards the end of the video. And I'll teach you exactly how to prevent that injury from happening. So the benchmark workout Annie is 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of double unders and sit-ups. So you do 50 double unders, then you do 50 ab mat sit-ups, technically is the standard. And then you do 40 double unders, 40 ab mat sit-ups. So before we go over the standards of each movement, if you're someone who needs to get better at double unders, if you get better at double unders, your Annie score is gonna get a lot better. I have a completely free double under training guide that if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly where you can get it. Again, totally free, and it'll help you level up your double unders once and for all so that you can get the best Annie score ever. So with that, let's move on to the standards of double unders. The double under is pretty simple. You have a jump rope. Doesn't matter what kind of jump rope. All that matters is that when you jump, you are spinning the rope under your feet twice. So it looks something like this. You'll notice that my rope spun twice while it was in the air. It's obviously easier said than done if you've ever tried it. I remember this is one of the hardest movements for me to learn. Obviously, if you're doing 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10, you're probably gonna wanna try to do them unbroken, or at least do consecutive reps of double unders. Here's what that would look like. Okay, so as I jump in the air, the rope passes under my feet once, twice, and I land. That was one rep. And your goal is to accumulate 50 before moving on to the ab mat. So pretty simple. I think in most rule books, the rope has to be rotating forward. I don't know, some people spin it backwards. And if you need to, technically, you could intersperse singles or tripping into your double under. So hypothetically, let's say you're doing some double unders and you trip. You wouldn't count that last rep. You'd start from where you left off, obviously not counting that last one because it didn't make it all the way through. And then you could go do a couple singles. These wouldn't count. And now I'm back into double unders. Each double under counts. You could, if you wanted to, you could also do something like single, double, single, double. But obviously you'd only be accumulating reps for this workout when you're doing each double under. So that's just a couple little nitty-gritty standards for you to know. Now let's talk about the standards of the ab mat sit-up, or just the butterfly sit-up. If you happen to be lucky enough to have an ab mat, what you need to do is find the end of the ab mat that has more of a lump. So there's a tapered end, and then there's a lumpy end with a bump on it. This lumpy, bumpy end goes in the small of our back, where our lumbar is. So basically your sitting bones right in front of this ab mat. I put my feet into what's called a butterfly position. So it's like I'm flapping a butterfly wing. My feet are together. And then I allow myself to lay back all the way until my upper shoulders hit the ground behind me. And then I also touch my hands behind my head. And then I sit up, I engage my core. And I think the standard is you have to touch the floor in front of your toes. Some people post amazing Annie scores by doing this, okay? Where they just like barely touch the back of their heels. In my opinion, and the standards that I've seen published are we touch in front of the feet. So touch in front of the feet, touch behind the head, touch in front of the feet, touch behind the head. That whole time I'm keeping my feet in that butterfly position. Obviously, you can do this without an ab mat. That's totally fine. The ab mat just kind of serves as a lower back support and helps you engage your core and your abs more than if you weren't using one. You could also take a couple towels. There's a lot of things that you can do, and we're going to talk more about some special tricks to avoid catastrophic ab mat injuries that tend to happen when people do Annie very quickly. So more on that later in the video. Now let's talk about the stimulus. Let's talk about making sure we're doing this right. In my opinion, and based on what I've seen, Annie should be a fast workout where you finish in the 10 to 12 minute range or faster. Some of the fastest Annie times in the world, I think, are in the 5 to 6 minute range. And really it all comes down to how fast can you do the sit-ups, assuming you can do all the double unders unbroken, and I know that's a huge assumption. But for those of us who aren't double under ninjas and who aren't really good at ab mat sit-ups, what should we do? Should we just force our way through all the double unders? Should we force our way through all the sit-ups and get a score of like 22 minutes? No, you shouldn't. The goal of CrossFit is we give you these standard workouts and then you modify and scale to get the desired stimulus. So again, assuming that stimulus is in about that 10 to 12 minute range, it's like a moderate paced Annie as prescribed. If you can't finish it as prescribed with this 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 rep scheme, then your goal is to either modify the reps or modify the movements or modify the range of motion so that you can finish within that 10 to 12 minute range or under. So with that being said, how could we do that with the double unders? The most common way, and the way I do not like as much, but everyone seems to do it, is let's say you see this workout and you're like, I can't do double unders. Okay, I'll do 2 to 1 single unders. So that would mean you do 100 single unders, 50 sit-ups, and then 40 single unders, 40 sit-ups, so on and so forth. I personally don't like that because we're not attempting double unders at all, and it's a heck of a lot of jumping, and I don't like it. But a lot of people will do that, so I will mention it. You can scale by substituting 2 single unders per 1 double under. So that would mean doubling the rep scheme and doing single unders like this. And most people turn it into like these little teeny tiny jumps, and I just personally don't really like it because we're not practicing our coordination very much and we're not really advancing to the double unders, but that's what you want to do. You can do it and it works. Another thing that I really like is scaling down the reps and still doing double unders. So again, all trying to stay within that 10 to 12 minute or less range. What would happen if you're not good at double unders, but you cut the double under reps in half? So that would mean you do 25 double unders and then 50 ab mat sit-ups. You do 20 double unders and then 40 ab mat sit-ups and so on and so forth. What that does is it kind of forces you to get good at double unders because you still have to do them. You just don't have to quite do as much volume. And chances are, compared to, let's say, someone like me who can do this workout unbroken, you're probably still going to be jumping just as much because you're going to be failing reps, you're going to be restarting, you're going to be tripping, and that's fine. I really like it when athletes scale down the reps but keep the prescribed movement. So if you can do double unders, but you don't think you'd be able to finish the 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 in that 10 to 12 minute range, then you could cut the double unders in half. That is one of my favorite tips. You could also count double under attempts. So as you're trying, let's say you're tripping, you can still count the attempts. That's another quick and easy way to reward yourself for practicing double unders rather than just being like what a lot of people do. They just come to the gym like, oh, I don't like double unders. I'm going to do single unders 2 to 1. And that's it. And it's so bad because like, I never get better at double unders. I can't figure out why. It's because you never do double unders. So we've talked about scaling down the reps. We've talked about counting attempts. You can do the cop out, which is the 2 to 1 single unders. Or you can do another one of my favorite drills, which is the penguin clap. The penguin clap is a great drill that actually gets the rope out of your hand, but still helps you practice the jump and wrist spin mechanics, the timing for double unders. So let me just show you a few double unders so you remember what they look like. Here they are. A penguin clap is where you put the rope down and you jump with that double under jump, so like a pretty big solid jump. And then as you're in the air, I'm clapping my hips twice with my hands. It looks like this. You'll notice that's almost identical to the cadence, to the speed, to the height, to the rhythm of a double under. This is a great way if you're someone who's like, hey Ben, I can't do any double unders right now. I would challenge you, I would say it's better to do a penguin clap Annie than a 2 to 1 singles Annie. I think you will get better at double unders more quickly if you practice double under style drills like the penguin clap. So again, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth to 50, and then I'd be doing my sit-ups. What's cool about the penguin clap is the only way for you to do the 2 deliberate claps to your hip is you have to make sure that you jump high enough. Just like there's no way that I can do double unders by jumping this high off the ground, like a lot of my single under people do, okay? So the only way to do double unders is you have to jump high enough. That's the stimulus that we're trying to get. So that was a long section of how to scale down the double unders, but it could be a great way to do it. Another final thing that I want to say is if you're someone who's stuck in single double hell, you can still do Annie in single double hell. That looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you would just count each double under. That's okay too, but again, I would challenge you, really try to move on to unbroken double unders. And again, wait to the end. I got a special present for you to help you improve your double unders. So now it's time to talk about the ab mat sit-ups. What am I doing with two 35-pound dumbbells, curling it 250 times like I just did? Well, here's why. If you want to scale the sit-ups, is you can simply take dumbbells or plates or something and anchor your feet and unbutterfly your legs. So rather than have my feet in a butterfly position, all I need to do is slide my toes underneath the dumbbells. You can keep the ab mat, and then what it does is it makes it way easier for you to engage your hip flexors to pull yourself up to do the sit-ups. Another thing that you could do is, if you're lucky enough to have a bar, I'm actually just going to step back and use this pull-up bar really quick. You could jump up and just do hanging knee raises. So just something that gets the core involved. So 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, anything that helps stimulate that core that does a sit-up-like motion and contracts the abdominal wall, that is a potentially great scale. And then another thing that you can do, let's say you don't have anything to anchor your feet, you don't have a place to do hanging knee raises. Technically, what I could do with the ab mat sit-ups is I could reduce the range of motion. Take a pad or something like that and put it behind the original ab mat, and then when I'm doing these sit-ups, I'm not having to go back as far. So you can see I hit that target and then I go forward. All that is just like I've mentioned in a lot of my other videos, it's reducing the range of motion for a movement that we need to scale down. So those are some potential ways to scale the sit-ups. Now let's move on to the most important part of the video. It's time to talk about Ben's ultimate strategy for getting the best Annie time. You need to be really good at double unders. I know it's a cop-out, but the bottom line is the best way to get a good score in Annie is to be good at double unders. Now, we're gonna go over a couple other little nuanced things, but if you're someone that's tripping up after 5 or 6 reps on double unders, or maybe even sooner, that's the low-hanging fruit. None of the other tips or strategies matter. What matters is getting to a point where you can do 50 unbroken double unders easily, anytime with any rope. And if you need help doing that, you should join our Double Unders Unleashed course. I have a full-blown 8-week, it's an incredible training course that's helped thousands of athletes learn 50 plus unbroken double unders. If you want to be the next person and absolutely destroy Annie the next time you hit that WOD, then click the link in the description or check out the top comment below. I'll make sure to have a direct link to Double Unders Unleashed, or if you want to get access to all of WODprep's courses, then you can join WODprep Academy. That would come with Double Unders Unleashed and all of the other training material that we have that would help you be a much more well-rounded athlete. So other than just being good at double unders, there's a couple things that we can talk about. I oftentimes see people when they're doing Annie, the wheels fall off the bus completely. It'll look something like this. Maybe they'll be able to get a couple reps done on the double unders. They're in the middle of the workout, they're tripping along, and then they trip. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they trip. And they're like, oh my God, I'm losing time. And then they trip again, and they trip again, and they trip again. What happens is, because this workout is such a fast-paced workout, people try to rush a lot of the things. And the most commonly rushed aspect of Annie is the first double under of each set. I see a lot of people, they'll get on the rope might be tangled. The rope should always be sitting in this perfect U position so that I can just reach down, pick it up with a rope behind me, and immediately start. But the big mistake I see a lot of people make is they start by doing a double under and they'll miss that first rep because they're not comfortable starting with a double under. So again, every time I pick that rope up, it should be in this U position. I pick it up, boom, it's ready to go. And then I always want you to start with one single and then get into your set. If you start with a single, that helps you get the rhythm and the timing of the rope, and it's going to prevent you from tripping. So even if you've tripped 2 or 3 times in a set and you're doing them and all right, you tripped, I don't want you to rush back in and try to hit another rep of a double under. Every time you need to start a new set, I want you to breathe, do a single, and then go into your set of double unders. That's going to help you so much. And that one tip alone will save you a ton of time, because the wheels start falling off the bus, you will get a really bad Annie time. But if you can stay controlled, keep your composure, and don't trip those first reps of double unders, take a deep breath, do a centering single or a timing single, and then go into your set of double unders, that's gonna help a lot. And it's gonna beat a lot of people who are trying to sprint and get that first rep done right away. Now, we've talked about a couple of simple strategies of the jump rope. Again, once I'm done with my set, let's say 50, I put it down. Look at that beautiful U shape. That's gonna make it so easy for me to pick back up. Now, when it's time to go to the sit-ups, here's a couple things you can do for the sit-ups. First, yes, you actually can kip sit-ups, kind of. What we're doing is we're using our hands and arms as momentum. There's no rule against that. So as I bring my hands back and they hit, I throw my hands forward. And that gives me a ton of momentum to come up. Okay, so watch it full speed. I'm literally throwing my hands forward. And that throw gives me momentum and it pulls me up. I've even seen people do like kipping, weird looking butterfly sit-ups. I don't know how to do those. And they're really difficult, and I don't think you really need to do them. But if you can just literally come back, touch, throw your hands forward, that's going to help you really be able to get through those reps quicker, and you're not going to waste as much time under tension with each sit-up. So that's a tip. Now, the most important tip for these sit-ups is to avoid the most horrifying injury of all of CrossFit, the one that's caused me the most pain out of any injury I've ever had, which is very few, and that is monkey butt. Monkey butt is horrible, and if you've never had it, I challenge you, go do Annie as fast as you can, and then take a nice warm shower that evening. You'll know what monkey butt is. Monkey butt is the rash that occurs on your upper butt cheeks, on your lower back, wherever you tend to make contact. When you're doing a ton of ab mat sit-ups, especially if it's on a rubber surface like this, you will actually wear a rash, or a monkey butt is what people call it, or I think there's a bunch of other names for it. In the comments below right now, what are the names that you've heard thrown around for monkey butt syndrome? What else do people call it? It's like ab mat rash, monkey butt, I don't know, there's other words. Leave a comment below and let me know. I need to educate myself. But it's horrible, and it really actually will make it hurt to shower for several days. And I'm kind of joking, it's not a big injury. It's just literally a rash that burns like crazy when you hop in the shower, and you probably won't even notice it's there until you hop into the shower. So what we can do to prevent that is we need to add some sort of padding in front of the ab mat. So what I'll see people do is they'll take a yoga mat, and they'll put a yoga mat down in front of the ab mat, or there's even some ab mats that have like a fold-out pad. But the bottom line is, even if you have to go as far as using a full-blown gymnastics pad in front of your ab mats, even if it looks like this, I promise you, doing your sit-ups on a pad like this will save so much pain and agony compared to those who do, all those ab mat sit-ups on a rubber floor, and then they get the monkey butt, and then it feels really hilariously horrible. So I hope you like this video. I hope you like the fun that I had with it. If you want to maximize your double under potential and thus get the best Annie score possible, go to WODprep.com/DU, and as promised earlier, I will send you that completely free double under training guide straight to your email inbox. All you have to do is enter your name, your email, and then for free, you get this ultimate guide to double unders. If you want to truly level up your double unders, come join us inside of Double Unders Unleashed, or to get the entire WODprep curriculum, where you can learn about all the skills, then join WODprep Academy for one low annual rate. You'll get full access to Double Unders Unleashed and every other skill program that we have. If you haven't yet, leave a comment below and let me know what's one thing you learned in this video, or either let me know that, or let me know the name for monkey butt that you or your gym uses. And tell me a story. Give me a story about how monkey butt has affected you. I still remember the first time I did Annie. I forget what my score was. I tripped a bunch in the double unders. It was bad, but I still remember hopping in the shower. And as soon as I turned around and that water ran down my back, I literally let out a scream because I didn't know. I was like, ah! And my college roommate at the time was like, what is going on in there? And I didn't know. And then I looked in the mirror and I saw that I had a rash on my upper butt cheeks, and that's why I was in so much pain. So I want to hear your monkey butt story. Leave a comment below. Thumbs up if you liked the video. Thumbs down if you didn't. Smash the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any other videos. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.